Okay, I'm here with Jimmy Lennon Jr., famous announcer. How you doing, Jimmy? How's it going tonight?
Doing great. Great to be here in Ontario.
Is this your first time at the DoubleTree on the Thompson Boxing Card?
No, I've been here once before, so this is my second time here with Thompson. But I've known Ken for a long, long time, and enjoy working with him whenever I can.
Now, your father's the Hall of Fame announcer. Did you used to go to all the fights with your father when you were a little kid?
Yeah, I grew up in the sport of boxing, the Olympic Auditorium, and then we did fights together at the Forum and the Olympic Auditorium. And so, yeah, as a kid, I grew up. In fact, I remember there were times when he'd have the ushers watch me. I was a little kid. He'd go do his thing, and I was too young to be alone, so the ushers would look after me.
And now, what are some? There's too many to pick just one great fight, but give me like 2, 3, 4 of the best fights you ever saw.
Well, you know what? I mean, the ones that I've worked, some of the big ones, of course, Tyson Holyfield, their fights, including the ear bite, wasn't the best fight, but it was the most memorable one. You know, Chavez versus Haugen in the 135,000 people in Mexico City was a great fight. You know, I remember Trinidad when he fought Bernard Hopkins. That was a great scene in Madison Square Garden, and that was a culmination of a tournament Don King had put on. You know, that was
kind of like a New York revival after 9/11 as well.
Yes, it was, and it was a great atmosphere there. And more recently, Vasquez Marquez, the trilogy, were some great fights that I did, and of course Diego Corrales and Jose Luis Castillo. Their first fight was an unbelievable fight. So those are some of the big fights and great fights that I've announced.
Now, yeah, you have a reputation for announcing the Hispanic names almost like a native. Do you speak fluent Spanish?
Well, no. I you know, spoken a little Spanish for a lot of my life and do a lot to work to give honor to the language and the fighters that I'm introducing. I do go to Mexico and South America, and just got back from Panama doing a fight, so I can do the fights in Spanish, but my conversation
Did you do that WBA charity event down there?
Yes.
Okay, how was that?
Terrific. Boy, is boxing strong in Panama. They got a lot of enthusiastic fans and good crowd and great fighters too. And
yeah, I went down there for the fight with the Valero in August of '06, and the fans really get into it. They have the drums rolling and everything.
They get into it. They have a full night. I mean, that night must have been 6 hours of boxing, and the fans were there till the end.
Do you see good fights down there?
Yeah, they're great fights. They really are. And sometimes it's guys who are just fighting for their next big fight, not necessarily.
And that was like against drugs. It was to raise money.
Yeah, every year WBA puts on a fight card, Knockout of Drugs, and it's a charity that raises money for a local organization to combat the effects of drugs and with young people. So it's a really good program that they have. And so I get to do fights in Nicaragua and Venezuela and Argentina.
What's your favorite country? What country do you look forward to visiting out of all those countries, even though it's fun to travel all over?
It's really different. I really like Argentina because it's just a great country, great culture, and going down to the south of the equator is great fun. I'd like going to Japan too. There's some great people. They treat you really nicely there. You just feel it's a really nice culture there. I really love going to Mexico, though. I love doing fights there because the fans are so enthusiastic, and there's such a deep, rich culture of boxing there.
Okay, well, thank you for your interview. You have a good night, Jimmy.
Yes,
have a good night, man.
Listen to that music.